Hello, and good morning, good day, whenever you're listening to this audio or watching this video. Tracy Brown here, and I haven't talked about movement and fitness and all things related in a long time, and this is the week of it. Every day, not every day this week, but I would say at least 3 times this week, maybe 4, if time allows, I'm going to help us unpack our relationship with fitness, with exercise, with movement, however you want to call it, label it, and honestly just help you get really, really clear about how you want this to go. So this video 1, is going to be the summary video of what's going to happen this week. I'm going to start off with my relationship with it, so you can know my background and, again, what's to come. And this is going to be an interactive series, so I'm going to need you all to, whether you listen to this or watch this live, or you are seeing a replay, I want you to be tagging me below in the comments section below about what your particular struggle is if you want to, or you can anonymously message me, email me, whatever. And we're going to add all those pieces of the conversation as the week goes by. So my background is I grew up, well, honestly, my foundation was I played outside a good bit as a kid, and I lived on a farm. So a lot of the reason I did that was because being outside is a little bit more fun to be outside active than inside, because there's always chores to do. So we're a fairly busy, active family in general, only because that was kind of the expectation, not because I always wanted to be doing things. So that was part of it. It's not that I didn't have time to like read or do whatever, watch TV, but yeah, that wasn't the thing that was it certainly wasn't like the norm or encouraged. So there's that background right off the bat. Let me see here. I was an athlete. So I grew up playing sports from the time I was 7 until I got into college. And so that was just kind of the norm of what I did like every day, almost after school or some kind of thing. So I kind of had this habitual thing going on. And I did like it. The problem is, when you live in a fat-phobic culture, of course we know that a lot of worth and success and all that kind of stuff gets tied up around being good at something, which, you know, maybe is sports or athletics. So again, I have a privilege of kind of being good at some stuff early on, so I got some worth stuff tied up. When I say privilege, on one hand, you know, you're more likely to be picked in PE, so I didn't have those experiences of you know, being picked last for everything, and I did have the reputation of being good at physical things, so there comes some privilege with that. The negative of that is that people see you as that sometimes, and not as much just who you are. So if you get a reputation like that, there's the pro and the con of it. So you know, I'm laying down the foundations of, as we break free from diet culture, some of the things that you have to actually make some peace from. So we're going to talk about that in future videos this week. That's my background. And then once I started recovering from my eating disorder, what happened, and this is what happens a lot of times, is you start to get more normal with your eating, and people start to think less and less is going on, so you switch from I want to be thin to I want to be fit. If you don't have the right practitioners, or you don't have the right people around you, if you get encouraged basically in your recovery for being good at some fitnessy kind of stuff, that's a switch. And that's what happened to me, is that I went from restricting and under eating and trying to be underweight for my body, my genetics, my whatever, to, okay, well, I'm not worried about fitness anymore. I'll just try to be fit. And that actually spiraled me into some of the worst years of chronic dieting and exercise obsession, you know, along many years, 5+ years of that. And it was torture. And we're going to talk about that in further videos. If you're stuck in that cycle, then this video series certainly is for you. And we're going to talk about the flip side of it. So all that stuff, you know, I got into that cycle, which made it really, really difficult to see my value and to have any other outlet for managing stress, anxiety, things like that, outside of fitness. So I didn't know how. That was my strategy, my only one. And so if I couldn't go, if I was sick or I was injured, I would really, really struggle in functioning honestly in daily life without a lot of anxiety. So that was, that took a lot of focus to get through that. And, the series is going to be about that. So on the flip side, if you're somebody who's really struggling with, like, I've never really had a good relationship with movement, I've never had things I like to do, I was never encouraged to find things I like to do or to move my body in a way that was, sustainable, or, I have some trauma around that. That's all real, and I went on that end of the spectrum as well. So just sharing with you that I've been on both sides of it, of like being compulsive, and then on the other side of like I just can't get going. And a lot of that happened after I stopped studying the obsession, and I kind of just collapsed into a lot of the struggles that were underneath the obsession and the compulsion. And I went into this like kind of collapsed, frozen place where I just couldn't get going for a long time too. And some of that's actually kind of normal, and some of it is actually a result of just some of this freeze energy that's under a lot of anxiety that happens for people. That's this kind of traumatic collapse. And so we're going to talk about that in this video, and what in this video series, and what we can do to get out of it. So today, what I want you to be thinking about before the next couple videos is, where are you at? Where are you at with your relationship with movement? What feels, what you've come through, what's been helpful to you, what's been still a place you're struggling with. If you want to put it in the comments below or message me, I want to specifically answer your questions if you have them. Of course, on Friday, it's always, we have Q&A Friday, so you can put it there. It's 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That'll be, and so we can finish up any loose ends from your questions this week if we don't get to them in other videos. So I want to make sure that you all know about that. What else can I say about movement? Just in general, I want to say that it's our birthright. We were born liking to wiggle and move and squirm, and I think everybody's on a spectrum, meaning some of us are more apt to need to move than others. I do know some people that they feel like they have to move just to feel settled in their bodies, and I think some of that's some old stuck, honestly, energy in their nervous system that needs to be addressed. Some people just have a higher motor than others, and that's okay. That just has to be addressed healthfully, without obsession, and in a way that things get resolved in a helpful way. And some of us, really struggle with, like I said, alarms to move, and I'm still having a hard time just if I work a full day of reminding myself that I just need to get up to stretch my body and to feel more vital. And if that's you too, we're going to address that. So I want you to feel where you're coming from. I'm going to address everything from like the fitness competition world to sports to just not knowing what you like to do, or nothing feels good to do in your body. We're going to talk about all those topics this week. And because I run the whole spectrum, I work with people trying to find like where they fit in the spectrum with their movement, and knowing that at the end of the day, movement is not a moral issue. Our bodies do like it, of course, but there are times where we need to just take a break from it and let it go. And then there are going to be there are times where we're going to probably need to be a little uncomfortable, or just be a little bit more planned out about helping ourselves get moving again in a very non-judgmental kind of way. So there's a lot to look forward to this week we're going to cover, and I hope you can join me for it. So please, again, I'd love to hear comments, questions, concerns, to make sure those get answered this week, and we'll get into specifics more. So again, be taking some notes about your journey with movement, where you're at, where you'd like to be, and we'll address all that this week. So thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye.